Hey, buddy, how you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
You know what? Just enjoying the long weekend. Unfortunately, it's a day it's a day of remembrance, and it's we're thankful for that.
Absolutely. We've got family. Actually, Sherry's uncle, grandfather, who is in France.
Oh,
He was in the Battle of the Bulge on D-Day.
no kidding.
Absolutely. That is going to
Wow.
be one of our bucket list trips.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, you know what's funny is I was watching a video today of a guy that was in the military, and he said, if you're going to remember our fallen service members, you should, what do you say? Have a barbecue and enjoy your family, because that's what they'd want you to do.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I'm down for that. So, yeah, just kind of a couple things. Number one, I always wear a hat, and it's not because I don't have beautiful hair, because I do. But I've went through skin cancer, and
Oh,
so
did you?
when people are going outside, make sure you're wearing sunblock. Because when I was a kid, I'm pretty sure about you, Doc, we just went out and there was no such thing as sunblock,
Absolutely
and
not.
we just went for it. So
Yep.
I'm paying for it now. So fortunately, everything is so far has come back negative.
Oh,
So
good deal.
tomorrow I have another doctor's appointment, and this should be my last one. So please protect yourselves out there.
Good deal. I know Pumpkin Girl's had a couple of skin cancer removed off of her body here and there for the same reasons. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, being young and not so smart. Don't want to say the other word because I like sleeping comfortable at night, not getting hit.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know what's funny is, like I said, when we were growing up, that just was not a thing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you did not stop to apply any kind of sunscreen or sunblock or anything like that. So now it's wallet, keys, phone, hat, sunblock, in pretty much that
yeah,
order.
yeah,
So
yeah. For some of us, I still ain't putting on very much sunblock. My skin still gets really dark, and
yeah. Well, you're lucky. You're lucky. You're
yeah,
lucky. I was
genetics.
my concern was that if I let it go any farther, that my glasses would fit me weird, because I might lose an ear or something.
Yeah. When we get older, we got to take care of ourselves just a little bit differently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'd like to take a step back. I'd like to take a step back to 1971. And I'd like to talk about the top 10 candies of
Oh,
1971. Now,
there you go.
in 1971, now, and the good thing about this candy we're talking about is it still stands today. So I don't know if that's the test of time or people have their favorites. And so I'm going to start off number 10, candy necklaces. Do you remember those?
I do remember those. They still got those.
They do. They do. And boy,
There
I'll
you
tell you what,
go.
yeah, that was it exactly. And the good thing about them was, if you chewed them just the right way, you could launch the other part and hit somebody with it. Not that I
Dude,
would never,
I remember.
not that I would
I
ever do that because I am a candy connoisseur. So,
Yeah,
and
those were awesome.
I know it says in the year of 72, but we're going to take a step back to 71. We'll warm up. We'll move into 72 next week. Number 9 was Bazooka Bubblegum.
Yeah,
Now, remember Bazooka Bubblegum you bought all by itself, and you could open it usually in a little square,
yeah.
and it had comics on it. And usually it was Bazooka Joe. And they
Didn't
were
they?
just,
Did they not have the tattoos in them as well, or it was just the Bazooka Joe comics?
I think it was
There
just
you
the
go.
comics. The
Yeah.
hold on. That's what I get for pushing buttons that I should not be doing. Okay, there we go. I don't know about those. I don't remember if they had the tattoos on them or not. I didn't. I never see these, but I chewed that gum and I was past it by the time.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
number 8, Smarties.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Smarties are still. If you think about it, Smarties are still going on today. You can still find them, and a lot of times you'll find Smarties in Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween is
What?
the big ticket,
I
and all the
remember
go
Smarties
ahead.
were my son's favorite candies.
Oh, no kidding. Yes,
Oh yeah.
yes. And I'll tell you, man, like I said, they're still standing tall. And it's funny because all they are is it says they're pressed sugar candy, and that's it. So I don't know if I know that they had different flavors, but I don't know how strong they were. I can't
You know
remember.
what? They weren't bad, man. I actually still buy those.
There you go. There's Bazooka Joe.
There you go.
There's the comic, and you could buy toys. And it looks like you could buy and build toys there. Number 7, Milk Duds. Now your Milk Duds. Your Milk Duds they're still around today. Um,
Absolutely.
they're, they're one of my go-tos. I'm a huge fan of candy, but Milk Duds, anything that I like caramel and I like chocolate, so that's something that works for me. Um, and then if you did it right, when you worked your way through all of the candy, you could have one end open and whoo, make that noise through
Oh, that's right. That's right. We used to do that in class all the time.
there. Yeah, so number 6 was something that really wasn't in my wheelhouse. It was Bit of Honey.
Oh,
Never liked it.
is wait. I hate to do this right here, but one of
Oh,
my
geez.
favorites, OG candies from way back.
Wow.
Oh
Wow.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't know that you went that hard with man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. Number 5 is a candy that's been around since the 1940s, and it's Fun Dip. And we've talked about
Oh,
Fun
okay.
Dip once or twice.
Yeah.
Fun Dip
Yeah.
was the part. There you go. You had the one flavor on one side, another flavor on the other side. You took that stick and you got it all covered with spit, and you dipped it in there. Or sometimes if you did it right, you could do a little cross contamination and get all that stuff in one. You know
Oh
exactly what
yeah.
I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying. And then if you're just gonna borrow some from a friend, You just lick your finger and dip it in there.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a real quick hit. You're good to
Oh
go.
yeah.
You're good to go. And then you could eat the stick. It was a win. It really was a win. You had your whatever flavor on one side, flavor on the other side. You could do the suicide thing. And then once you poured all that stuff into your mouth, and you usually had it around the ring of your mouth, then you could eat the stick.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
So that was a good thing. Number 4, still a strong contender right now, Snickers.
Snickers goes that far back.
Yes, sir. Snickers goes back a little bit farther than that. I'm going to have to do
Oh
the
wow.
research in it, but I know Snickers has been around for a minute.
Yeah, that's another one of my favorites, and
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I shouldn't be eating as much with the diabetes, but hey,
You got 2 legs.
yeah, there's an old saying. I guess we're here for a good time, not a long time.
That's absolutely, absolutely. It's funny growing up, my aunt and uncle, oh, that's Snicker. Mud Lover says Snickers goes all the way back to 1930.
Oh wow. Okay.
So, and I'll tell you what, if they had a candy right now from 1930, a Snickers, I would eat it. I would eat it.
I bet I can assure you, it probably tasted a lot better back then.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. But like I was saying, my aunt and uncle, my aunt had really bad diabetes, and back in the day, if she wanted to eat candy, and they always had the best candy at their house,
Uh,
the best candy. So what she would do if she decided if she ate too much, that yeah, definitely. Um, if she ate too much, she would hit herself with insulin again.
oh.
Now,
Oh.
the last year or so of her life, they took both legs at the knee.
Oh.
She was a bilateral amp, and she was
Wow.
blind. So,
Wow.
and then, yeah, it was one of those things. It
Wow.
was, but I tell you what, Dan, I don't think that stopped that old lady from eating candy.
Yeah. It
You're here for a
didn't
good
sound
time.
like it, man.
No, she went hard. She went hard. Number 3, Tootsie Roll and Tootsie Pops.
Okay. Yeah.
And Tootsie Pops were how many licks does
How
it
many
take?
licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Yes, and the good, and I remember this commercial as a kid,
Yeah.
right? As a kid, I remember this commercial, and it was one of those things, man. How many licks does it take? I don't
One.
know how far back they went. And there's the famous. Okay, so this Tootsie Roll container
Oh
actually
yeah.
had. Remember, it had little Tootsie Rolls in it,
Yep.
and
And
then
it ended up being a piggy bank, as a matter of fact.
yes,
A coin. Yeah. A
yes,
little coin bank.
yes, and I'm sure that if we look around, Mud Lover has one of these somewhere.
Yeah.
I would almost.
We used to give those for Christmas every year.
Yeah, that was it
Yeah.
exactly.
In
Oh,
case you
she
had
doesn't.
family members come by that weren't expected, you always had an extra 5, 6 of those laying around, and you go into the room and put their name on it, and here you go.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, unfortunately, Mud Lover says she doesn't have one of those. I'm surprised. She's got everything else. Number 2, again, a strong contender right now. Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh, oh yeah, no, that's still in my book. That's still number one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so again, Mud Lover and I talk about a lot of stuff, and the one thing that we have talked about in general is how candy and food has changed from when you're growing up.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
absolutely. Yeah. Mm. It's just with the taste of everything. and I don't know if it's this fake sugar that they're putting in everything now or whatnot, but things just tasted better back then. I don't
I
know
think
if
so.
it was our young taste buds or what it may have been, but yeah, things were just better.
Well, it's funny that you say it like that because you are absolutely correct. Something that you remember as a kid thinking, "Oh my God, that was the best. That was just the best," and it just now you're like, no. But I'll
Yeah.
tell you a story because everything has a story, right? So when I'm very fortunate, I am so extremely fortunate. Mud Lover is such a good sport, and I this when we grew up going out, my dad really enjoyed the Sizzler, loved Sizzler. That was his thing, and so I hadn't went, and we were coming back from Vegas, and there was a Sizzler in Barstow, and Mud Lover decided, oh, you know what? Now Mud Lover, she's not really a buffet person, because she doesn't eat enough to pay back for the buffet, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So we decided to go to that Sizzler in Barstow, and I kept talking it up, man. I kept talking it up, and I'm like, you know what? You'll love it, and she'd only maybe they didn't go to those places when they were young. Well, we went in there, and it was the worst Sizzler I had ever been
Oh.
to, and I was embarrassed. I
Oh
was
wow.
embarrassed. The food looked like it'd been there since the day before.
Oh wow.
It just, yeah, it was horrible. It was
That's
horrible,
all
and I think
bad.
the lettuce was even wilted. Now, understand, it's hot in Barstow. It really is. It's like the surface of the sun there.
Right. Yeah.
But, because that's where the tallest thermometer is. But
Okay.
the lettuce was wilted, and Mud Lover, she she's a trooper, and she had some food, and it died there. So again, we were somewhere else, and I said, you know what? Let's try scissors again. And she's like, okay, same thing. It was horrible. It was worse than bad,
Really?
and
Wow.
I was just like, oh my gosh. I felt so horrible.
Have you guys
So
gone back since that time?
so we went to the one in Chubbuck,
Uh huh.
and she was very pleasantly surprised. I think we're going to be able to go back again. Um, it was clean. It was nice and cool. The
Okay.
food was very well kept up, and yeah. So I think maybe we'll be able to go back again.
Yeah, Pumpkin Girl and I have gone to the one in Chubbuck, and we've gone there a couple of times. So, I mean, yeah, it was pretty good. It was well kept up, and the service was good. Shout out to
Mhm.
Sizzler and Chubbuck
That's right.
for good service. So,
Exactly. And yes, she said it was the best scissor that she's ever been to. So, yeah, we get to go back. And I always ask her if we go to a restaurant that we've never been to, and I say, do we get to come back? So that's when we get to go
so,
back to now.
so, so talking a restaurant that we've gone to when we were younger and gone back as older folk to eat it. This just happened to us. We went over to Morro Bay to the I think it was what it's called, the hut, the fish hut in Morro Bay. And when we'd go over there, it was great. I mean, we enjoyed it. We would, we go. We've gone there several times, and we went this time. Oh boy, yeah, we just went, and it's been almost a decade and a half since we went back, and it almost tastes like the oil has been there since we were last there. Yeah, yeah, it was a different experience, man.
And yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. And like I said, so there was a place out in Simi Valley, and it was called Mud Lover. What was that place? The pastrami place out in Simi Valley. The Hut, the Hat. It's called the Hat.
Uh-huh.
Now the Hat was it's a pastrami place, but that's the one place you can get French fries with gravy on them. Now,
Oh,
don't knock it till you try it. I'll tell you what, it was one of those things. Yeah, exactly. When a place is so good, then you go back and it's blah. Exactly. Exactly. And that's one of those things.
uh,
Again,
okay.
you're pimping it up.
Yeah.
You know exactly how it's going to be, and you're heartbroken. You're just heartbroken.
So I so
And,
I'm going to ask you this, and I don't know if this is the case or not. Is it that our taste buds change when we get older? That
you
question
know,
is out there because I mean, is it that our taste buds change, or is it that it's when we were younger we could just eat whatever and
well, I can tell you, I know that there's been, like I said, there's certain places that we've went and then went back to, and sometimes it's just, you know, we both have had friends. All of us, all four of us, have had friends that have worked in restaurants, and the common theme is different hands, different, different taste. One cook might do it one
okay.
way, one cook might do it another way. Same thing, just tastes different. Yeah, and it's just like they said. Mud Lover says they use crap ingredients, and the chocolate isn't chocolate anymore. So, but the
Okay.
funny thing,
Yeah,
like I
and
said,
maybe it's that.
but you know, it's really unfortunate when you go to a place. There's a place that we go to when we go to California, and it's in Santa Paula, California, and it's Foster's, and they have the best corn burritos in the whole
Okay.
entire world, as far as I'm sure. Now, Mud Lover can do a lot of things, and she hasn't tried these yet. She's tried them once, I think. I take that back. She's taken them once. They're really hard to make, but she does a good job.
Uh,
But I would be willing to drive all the way down to Santa Paula right now. Let's go to go get some corn
to get some
burritos.
corn burritos. Yeah.
Yes, and then we drive back through Arizona and we go to a place called Oregano's, and it's a pizza place, and it's Italian food. And if you ever get a chance to go there in Arizona, it's incredible. It's called Oregano's. Really
There
good food.
there is a Mexican restaurant in Arizona that Pumpkin Girl has told me about. Filibertos. And she had hyped this place up before I had ever got there. And when we went there, it actually lived up to the name. I mean, it
Sweet.
tasted authentic, and yeah, it was really good. I don't know if I'd go back and taste it now with my older taste buds because I would hate to have an expectation of a wonderful
Right.
meal and yeah, this old age kind of ripping stuff apart, man.
Well, what's funny is you're absolutely correct. And our guts aren't what they used to be.
Oh yeah.
Our And it's like
Oh
I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it when you said our taste buds are a lot different now. Um, I know that there's certain things that I could eat when I was a kid, and I'm just like I can't do it. I can't do
yeah,
it.
yeah. I
And it's
mean,
just
this getting older stuff from right now not wearing any glasses and looking like because we are at a non-disclosed location,
sure.
um, being mobile. without my glasses. You said you had a hat on, and I'm going to take your word for it, man, because I can't see. I know I've got the phone in front of me, but I wouldn't know if it was you or Mud Lover on right now.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's the difference between Mud Lover and me is she's the good looking one.
I, I'm no doubt. I just ain't got glasses on right now, brother.
Oh my gosh! So the number one most popular and iconic candy in 1971. Now remember, 1970, 71. What movie was huge?
Was it Rocky? No,
No, no. Now think candy. Think
no.
candy.
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
There she goes. Checking out Pumpkin
Thank you,
Girl
Pumpkin
coming
Girl.
from the cheap seats.
Yeah. That's my backup right there.
That's right. That's your ride or die, right?
Yes, sir.
So Laffy Taffy was introduced to promote the 1971 Willy Wonka movie. It's fruit flavored, and the taffy became an instant sensation. And it was also known that there were jokes on the Laffy Taffy wrapper as well. Now, I'm not. Laffy Taffy is not in my wheelhouse, and it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that one of those things.
Yeah,
that I didn't go there.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised Chico sticks weren't in there.
Oh my God, we used to call them chicken bones.
Yeah, the chicken sticks, or you can make a left here. Or even the zero bars. Do you remember the zero bars?
No, I don't know what year they came out. And maybe Mud Lover can check on the zero bars. Those are good. They're still out. They're strong.
Oh, yeah.
They're still strong. But I don't know if that was something that came out on this list.
And I'm surprised you didn't mention candy cigarettes. That's where, yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is looking through a couple of these, candy cigarettes were on there, but that was not the list that I picked up.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no. Yeah, I remember those. Those were.
Yeah,
oh, there you go.
There you go. Hey, Muddy, what year did zero bars come out? Do you know? Can you check that? They came out in 1920, Doc.
Oh.
So we're gonna have to do a top 10 of 1920.
Right. we're gonna have to shoot back a little bit deeper. So
exactly.
I pulled up. I'm still stuck in 1972. We had a lot of headline news in 1972. There was a lot of stuff going on in the United States.
Yes.
Throughout the entire world, 1972 was really lit. The number 10 was Nixon won the U.S. president election in a landslide victory.
Mm-hmm.
And Nixon won it. Looking back on that today, man, what he got. What is it? It's not fired from the presidency. What he got. What is it called when they kick him out?
Impeached.
When he got impeached for the Watergate. Man, if it was by today's standards, I don't think he would have been impeached.
I think, and you know this, and anybody that there you go, Richard Milhouse Nixon. Now,
I am not a crook.
That's right. And we will never know it because we're never. I think there was, and I've kind of heard by way of just controversy stuff that there was some other stuff that was going on.
Okay.
and he was a scapegoat. Now, I don't know that for true. I have no idea. It's just that I just don't fly with these big ears. I do hear some things every once in a while. And it's
Number
one of those
9.
things.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so apparently he wanted to release some information, and they wouldn't let him. And you know as well as I do, we're never going to know anything about that kind of stuff. That's just the way it
Oh,
is.
no. Yeah.
And
Even the
it's
stuff that they
unfortunate.
do release nowadays, it's all redacted. It's all, they release a little bit at a time. And
Oh, sure.
we're as the American public, I doubt we'll ever get the true stories.
Right.
But yeah, and I'm thinking that's just the way it is, man.
Well, it's funny that you say that because we both, all four of us, Pumpkin Girl, Mud Lover, you, me, we've all seen stuff that we really can't identify. And we've talked about stuff in the air that you just can't identify. And now that we're in 2026, the sitting president has released some stuff about UFOs. And for the
That's
longest
right.
time, the military was like, "No, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It was a weather balloon. It was
Yeah.
whatever." So growing up, my mom was like one of the school moms. She'd come into class, she'd do whatever, she'd volunteer and all that stuff. Well, I guess one night she couldn't sleep. She gets up to go get a drink of water. She looks outside, and everything outside is blue. It's not just sunlight. It's blue. I mean, it's moonlight. It's blue. So she goes outside, and this is the story that I was told my whole life. She went outside on the front porch, looked up, and she saw a blue light up in the sky. And we're the town that I grew up in was in a valley. Okay. So she said that she watched this blue light kind of moving around, and it moved around for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then it took off. A couple days later, she goes to a PTA meeting. And so they get to talking, and after the meeting was done, they're all talking, talking about what's going on. My mom says she had told some friends about stuff like that. Oh yeah, and a lot of other people had seen it. A lot of other people had seen it. A lot of these other women had seen it. Whatever. About 20 minutes later, they're all just BSing. These two guys walk in, and per my mom, and my mom's gone. Per my mom, these two guys were in black. They were in black suits.
Men in black. Yeah.
And they came in and they told this group of women, "You didn't see anything."
Oh, wow.
You didn't see anything. Now, this would have been 60s. I think we moved into that. I think my folks moved into that in 51. So it would have been between 51 and 60. And these two guys, like I said, per my mom, and now she wasn't long-tongued. And she would say, she said, yeah, these guys came in and told us we didn't see anything. And if we did say anything else, that there would be problems.
Really?
So wow. I don't know. I mean, and like I said, we're from a very small town, and so
I don't put it past the American government back then to do that. I mean, I believe all these rumors come from somewhere, and like Men in Black and these movies that they're putting out today, they're coming from somewhere. I don't think they're just making stuff up. I really don't.
I don't either. I think that there's some really good people out there with some great imaginations. I was one of them. When I was a kid, I had this great imagination. It's kind of left me. It took a left turn at Albuquerque, but I don't have the imagination I had. But I think you're right. I think some of the stuff that these folks are talking about, there's some truth to it, man. There's something going on. And unfortunately, we will never know. We'll just never know. It's just the way it is.
Well, hopefully they'll start releasing that stuff. Whether we can believe everything that the government, we're from the government, we're here to help. Whether everything they release is actual truth, who knows? But I'm sure some of it's got to be coming from somewhere. That's all I got to say.
So back in the day, on the AM side at midnight, there was a guy that would come on the radio, and his name was Art Bell. Now, Art Bell was former Air Force, so he knew some stuff. And he would actually, he had a talk show. And you can still pick it up on YouTube, and I listen to it all the time.
Really?
But he would have people call in. And sometimes he would interview these people. And then some folks that worked at Dreamland or Area 51, he would talk about the Men in Black. Sometimes he would have a phone number just dedicated to extraterrestrials. If you're an extraterrestrial, call us.
Yeah.
And people would call.
You know what? I actually believe that I heard there is a show on his hotline where somebody from Area 51 was calling, giving information. They also had another guy, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he would call in talking about being from the future, that he was needing a certain computer that he was going to take back to the future that they were still using. It was a IBM something or another, and it was this specific model. And it wasn't until after the show was ran and a couple of years later they were doing the research on it, and everything this person was saying on this call was legit. I mean, everything that he would claim on this stuff he needed in order to get back to his time was straight legit. And it's stuff like that makes it makes you go
Exactly. And what's funny is Mudlover and I were just talking about this the other day. Mudlover is not as deep. She's only heard Art Bell in passing. She's never listened to the show. Excuse me. When I would work dawn shift and I was in control of the radio in the jail, we would either listen to country music or the Art Bell show. And I'd get a phone call from the watch commander going, you know what, you really need to change that. People are complaining. So, and I would do that just to poke the bear, right? But understand this, just like you said, some of the people that actually called him, that stuff is rolling true now.
Yeah.
And some of them are crazy. There was a guy that was talking about that he was an Area 51 employee, and he was just dismissed because of I think they said he had PTSD or something like that. It's irrelevant. But this guy was on the run, and you can hear it in the voice. And like I said, I don't know if this guy's gaming or not. I don't know.
You're right.
But this guy's like, look, this, that, this, that, and the other. He was telling him some stuff, and all of a sudden he goes, I can't talk too long. They'll triangulate. They'll find me.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they lost his feed, and the satellite that they produced his show had actually, that channel flamed out.
Oh, yeah.
So, dude, coincidence?
I don't know,
bro.
man. I don't know. I don't believe in coincidences in this world anymore.
Right. Well, and I know I used to work with a guy, and he was Air Force as well. And he was, I don't know what his plane was, but he was a crew chief. And I asked him, and I said, hey, look, I'm going to ask you straight up and down. I said, is Area 51 Groom Lake, is there something there? And he says, I can't tell you. I cannot tell you. And I mean, and I get it. I don't want him to violate his whatever.
Yeah.
Mud Lover's dad was in the Air Force. And when Mud Lover and I got together, I would hang out with her dad because we're both, we both could talk the ear off the corn. And but Dave was a good dude, and he goes, watch. So he gets on his computer, and he dials in whatever the website is, and we were actually looking at his house, and it was not Google Earth, it was real time stuff, and the banner came across and said that you are not something like you cannot access this, and turn him off.
Oh wow!
And I was like, dude. Yeah. And he thought that was funnier than heck. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Wow.
I was concerned, right, that the FBI is going to roll up. So it was definitely something else. Definitely.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we ended up, and I've always seen stuff that is, do you discount it? Are they full of crap? Are they one of those things that, I don't know. But like I said, on this show, it was some of the stuff that this guy, I mean, these people would call in, they'd say, okay, are you a time traveler? And these people, yeah, I'm from the year 2026. Well, what's happened? And some of them were just, they were crazy. And some of those people were dead on.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
So looking at number 9, The Godfather premieres, becoming a cultural phenomenon. I did not know that the movie The Godfather came out in 1972.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And that was look, I'm gonna grant this favor for you, but one of these days you're gonna have to, yeah.
I'm gonna ask you for a favor.
Exactly.
Come to me on the day of my daughter's birth to ask of me a favor. Oh my God.
And it was just so dripping with just those folks. It was incredible. It was incredible.
It was amazing. HBO number 8, HBO launches their first pay cable television network in 1972. Yeah. HBO launches the first pay cable television network.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And I could have never imagined. I mean, at that age, I wasn't even working or anything else like that. But I mean, we had 3 channels back then. And that fuzzy channel that all the kids watched that we weren't supposed to after 9 o'clock.
We didn't even have that. We didn't even have that. And I thought, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Yeah, we never had that. The only time the channels would get fuzzy was when it rained. There you go. HBO coming strong.
Number 7, NASA's Mariner 9 sends the first detailed images of Mars.
Yeah. The best.
Number 6, biological weapons convention was signed by United States of America and Russia and all our allies that we agreed we were no longer going to use biological weapons on each other.
How do you think that worked out for us?
I believe they all signed it. I cannot say that everybody stuck to it.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yeah, because it's said, it's alleged that there was still testing stuff way after that, even here in the United States against our own people. So.
Oh heck yeah! There you go.
And number 5, Lidi Amid expels Asians from Uganda. Who was that?
Ali Amin.
Ali Amid.
I'm
Expels
glad when you
Asians
bring your
out of-
translator with you.
Just like you bring your Google, your
That's
AI
right.
with you. We all got to get our information from somewhere.
Ili Amin.
That's right.
Ili Amin? Oh, Ili Amin. There you go. And then the Uruguayan Air Force flight crash leads to Andy's survival ordeal. That's another thing. Nicaraguan
Oh my gosh.
earthquake destroys Managua. That's horrible. I should have brought my glasses. The Iran blizzard becomes the deadliest snowstorm in history. I did not know it snowed in the desert.
Wow. Especially in Iran.
Right? I had never heard about it. And then we've got Hurricane Agnes devastates the eastern United States in 1972.
Yes.
Hurricane Agnes. British imposes direct rule over Northern Ireland.
I wasn't aware.
I was not either. And Governor George Wallace was shot during the presidential campaign.
Yeah. I remember that. And you know, what's funny is, as far as I can remember, that's the only thing I can remember about George Wallace. That he
Yeah.
was shot during a warm-up campaign. There you go. So that is that hurricane that you were just talking about. And it looks like there's
look at that.
so much. Yeah. And you know what's funny is unfortunate that we are at will of just whatever the earth, the weather, whatever it is, throws at us. And I think, unfortunately, with something else that we've never talked about is the HARP project. You know, people don't believe in the HARP project, but it's true. It's true. There's a lot of stuff that we talked about that. So, and it's unfortunate.
The HARP project is that where they are controlling the weather?
Yes. Yes.
Well,
And
they've
again-
already talked about seeding clouds and doing stuff like that. I mean, yeah, with all the technology they have today, with the means to do it, who's to say they don't?
You know, and you're right. And it was, for the longest time, it was one of those things where, you know, they've talked about the jet stream, you know, the kind of stuff that they're putting, you know, that they're squirting out. And if you think about it, how do we know? How do we know? You know, I mean, there's no way we're gonna know. And even if somebody was to come out and say, oh, you know, we've been doing this for 20 years, or we've been doing that for, people are just going to discount them. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that are paid to discount people. So Jesse Ventura was a professional wrestler at one time, but prior to that, he was actually a SEAL. And after his after his wrestling career, he actually did a bunch of controversy. And one of the things that he did on his show was he did a whole show on HARP. And
Really?
it was pretty interesting. Yeah. Hey, Muddy, when was his show on? I know we've seen it in the past. What years were his show on? But yeah, it's nuts. And you know what's funny is, if you know how to do that homework, and if you know people, and if you have a name, absolutely they're going to give you stuff up. And
you know, he is still coming out on TV talking about things that are going on in the United States, things that nobody else wants to talk about. I know that I believe he's living in Mexico off the grid.
I think he is.
Yeah,
I think he is.
I believe that's where he is. He'll come down and do his show and whatnot, but he lives off the grid in another country, in Mexico, to where he is taking care of himself. And yeah, I mean, with the more information that is given, and the more information that you have, it's kind of scary when people who are really well informed are deciding to live off the grid and hide. It's kind of
What does that tell
nerve-wracking
you?
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny is somebody says that his show was on from 2009 to 2010. It was called Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura, and I'm
There
sure
you go.
you could still find some of that stuff. And like I said, these people that come out with this stuff, whether you believe them or not, they're getting their information from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that the world that we're living in right now, that with that stuff being a little bit more liberal, but they downplay it. You talked about earlier about stuff that was redacted.
Yeah.
When my brothers, my two older brothers, were in Vietnam, they would actually, if you remember the scene in Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams, where the censors would actually hold the paper up and there was a letter, lines blown through it, and that's my brothers had actually brought those letters home because they wanted to show people that was what those guys did, the censors did.
Wow.
And it was so a lot of that stuff really, really happened. I know that looking back on the 50s, the 60s, the 40s and 50s, we were very respectful of what happened. The president said everything, and we took that as word. So once we got into like the mid to late 60s, the 70s, things went off the rails.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those things now that we're looking at, and it's like, somebody that's downrange, excuse me, if somebody that's in Afghanistan right now, you can pick your phone up and call them. And that's incredible to me. Because like I said, I remember
just about talking to anyone. Yeah.
And like I said, I can remember we'd watch the evening news, and I was young, but I can remember watching the evening news to see if we could see my brothers on there, just to see them, and it was, yeah. And then
speaking of that, and back in the olden days, do you remember when the president of the United States had something to say? Every single channel would turn off and they would go directly to the White House because the president of the United States had something to say to the American people. And you look at today where we're told that the news, you can't trust them. They don't. I don't think I see the president on the news anymore at all.
I don't either. And you're right. I remember be watching something stupid and then they would cut right to the White House. Or there was a press conference and they would cut right to the White House that night. And yeah, you're right. And I'm going to say that quit being a thing in what, early 80s?
I think so. The respect for the Oval Office is, I mean, and it's not just with this president, even the last president. It doesn't really matter if it's Democrat or Republican. It seems like the respect for the Oval Office within the American public has just really gone downhill. Just the respect for that office is sad within our own general public. I mean,
Yes.
the way anybody can just down talk the president of the United States, when back in our days, man, he was held up to you know, and it was an esteemed office where whatever he said, everybody listened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's unfortunate. You are absolutely correct. It's unfortunate that we've gotten that far away, and I think that I think it's because of a lot of things, but I think it's the distrust at that office.
Yeah,
Um, I
yeah,
think that and everybody's going to know. Like I said, there's all kinds of moles in there, and it's again it used to be growing up. You know what you could be when you grow up? You can be the
yeah.
president of the United States. I wouldn't want
Yes,
that
sir.
job at all.
No way.
I would not want
Not
that job
anymore.
at all. And I would I think
Yeah.
what I would do, I think I'd rather drive a trash truck. You know, it is what it is. Hey, let me hit you real quick with the top TV shows of 1971.
Sounds good.
Coming in at number 10. We only have a few minutes left. The Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour.
Oh, yeah. I
And
remember that.
yeah. Now, yeah, you're right. Keyboard warriors, greed, and no accountability for actions. You're right, Muddy. You're absolutely right. Sonny and Cher debuted in 1971, and it just started crushing everything else. The Carol Burnett Show, I think, and in fact, I grew up watching that. I watched Sonny and Cher. One of the shows that we
I
still
remember that.
watch
Yep.
right now, yes, sir, is Adam 12. And it was kind of a cutting
Yeah.
edge show. It had there you go. It was produced by Jack Webb, who produced Dragnet, right, and a couple other things. But
Yeah.
Adam 12, man, is still. I personally think it still stands strong. The next one is Bonanza, right? It was all
Yeah.
about the Cartwrights, and they lived on the Ponderosa. Fun fact: the Ponderosa is in Tahoe, and I've actually been to the ranch that it was filmed on, and it's on North Shore, headed to Nevada. So it was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Pretty cool. Yeah. The next one is the Partridge Family. And I love how they say it. It was a musical sitcom following a groovy widowed suburban mother and her kids who hit the road as a pop band. Now, do you know anything about what happened to the dad?
I do
Because
not.
I know nothing. I know nothing about that. I know nothing about that.
I do not. Let me see if Pumpkin Girl knows anything about that. Partridge Family, the dad. She has
I don't
no
think
idea.
I don't think he was ever in the mix at all. And maybe Muddy knows a little bit more about that. That would be something that she would know about. But yeah, I do not remember anything ever about the dad. I know that they had talked about it occasionally, but that was maybe in the first season. So
You are right.
anyway, so anyway, the next one was the Mary Tyler Moore Show. It was groundbreaking because it was a sitcom centering on an independent, career-focused single woman in Minneapolis.
And I don't remember seeing that one.
You never watched Mary Tyler Moore?
I did not.
It was it was an interesting show. It was very interesting. The next one's Gunsmoke. It was one of the top shows. I don't know what year Gunsmoke came out. There you go, Mary Tyler Moore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did see that occasionally.
Exactly. And then the next one behind that was Gunsmoke with James Arness as Matt Dillon. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a great show too. That was great. I like that one. I still watch that occasionally. The next one would be Marcus Welby, MD, and it was a very successful medical drama that dominated the 70s ratings. Marcus Welby. I never watched it.
I did not watch that one either.
I didn't. I didn't. The next one is the Flip Wilson Show. Did you ever watch Flip Wilson Show?
I did. That I did watch. He was hilarious.
Oh my God, that guy was so funny. Variety show. He did so many of his own people. He did. Oh my God, what was the girl's name? I can't remember, but it was great. It was, and he was just so funny. And for that time, he just was killing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really enjoyed that show.
Flip
And
Wilson.
he would dress up as that woman and talk about her boyfriend Killer.
Yeah.
The best.
Good
And the
stuff.
number one show for 1971. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, Flip Wilson has passed away. The 1971, and it is now this is, I'll read you the description of this show. It is a cultural juggernaut following a working class, controversial family, man and his family. You ready?
Yeah.
All in the Family.
I remember All in the Family. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. With Archie Bunker. Come on now. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, that was one of my dad's favorite shows.
I loved it. But it was a sign of the times, though. I mean, you couldn't put that show on TV today.
Oh, heck no. Heck no.
Oh,
and that's
no.
funny that you say that. That's so funny that you say that, because Muddy and I, we talk about stuff like that now.
Yeah.
And she's taken a step backwards to the Partridge Family. It just says that the dad had passed away.
Okay.
So there's
all right.
that.
I mean, look at George Jefferson, look at Archie Bunker, and the conversations they would have, even the name calling that they would have on live TV, they would say. I mean, we can't even say that online without being censored and kicked off.
Agreed. And you know, it's funny. There was 3 of them you just talked about. You talked about the Jeffersons.
Yep.
You talked about All in the Family, and what was the other one? Maude.
Oh yeah,
Maude with B. Arthur. And that was one of those things that was just incredible. Hey, before you leave, I know we're short on time. I do want to tell you a story, and I want to put this out there to everybody. I was going through when I was going through the academy to become a deputy. You know, you don't have a lot of time to do stuff, and I lived about an hour away from the academy. So academy, you had to be there at 6. And you were there until about 5, and then the rest of your time you were either going home, you were getting your uniform clean and squared away, rubbing your boots up, whatever it took, doing your homework.
You were allowed to live at home during the academy?
Yes.
Wow. That's different. I had to live on site, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's funny that you say that, because Highway Patrol does or did the same thing. I don't know about now.
I think it's state peace officers that we had to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm sorry, I digress.
No. So we got a weekend off, and I did some shopping, and we actually ran. I was doing something, and if you saw somebody in law enforcement, you had to report it. You know, so these full-time deputies, the deputies that I knew that I worked with prior to, would go out of their way to find me, because they're jerks. But it's all in fun. It's all in fun. So anyway, I went to, I can't remember what store, and I think it was Walmart. Doing a midnight run, and I found one of those big old buckets of red vines. Okay, and I like red licorice. Muddy, if you could put up a bucket of red vines, that'd be awesome. So anyway, cheap energy. Sugar is very cheap energy, and you're just kind of grinding. And that's a big tub. It's a big tub. We've all seen them.
Yeah.
So I'm working my way through this thing of red vines, and if they sit in the car long, they get softer, That's when
Yeah.
they're the
In the
best.
heat.
Yeah, buddy. And so since the vehicle I drove, you couldn't take all your cars onto the Academy site because there was only
No.
room for so many. So you had to leave. People had to leave their cars at the park and ride. We would all, there you
There it
go.
is. Yeah.
There it is right there. And so we'd all have to ride in one car. So, you put like 6 people in one vehicle. You put, because we had to
Yeah.
condense, and that's the teamwork stuff. Anyway, I worked my way through this bucket and went to the bathroom and got a little concerned because I'm one of those people that I have to look, and it was nothing but red, and
Oh,
it was horrible.
no.
And for my medical days, my medical field days, when
Oh,
when
yeah.
it's red,
Yes.
there's a problem. So my mom was still alive, and I went into her and I'm like, look, I might have something going on. And she's like, stupid, you just ate all of those red vines. So needless to say, don't do that. Don't do that. Doc, we're at the end of this madness. Take us home.
All right. Everybody out there, treat each other good. Treat each other how you would like to be treated. Remember, this world is only as kind as you are.
Exactly. Be good humans. We love you. Thanks.
We'll see you
And
guys next week.
Doc, I hope you make it home and let us know when you do.
We just pulled in,
Like
so we'll chat in a little while.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. Be safe, and we'll see you when we see you.
Sounds good.